Okay, today we talked about how to apply all the formulas that we learned about this week, perimeter, area, or volume. Um, and the examples that we've been given earlier, it was really obvious what we were supposed to be doing, or which formula to use, because, one lesson was about perimeter, one was about area, one was about volume. But when you take a test, it's going to give you a problem, and you might not necessarily know which one to use. So that's what this lesson is about, figuring that out. So in this example, we have this jewelry box here that has the dimensions of 8 inches, 4 inches, and 6 inches. And in the problem, it says the length. It tells you that the length of the box is 8 inches, the width is 4 inches, and the height is 6 inches. And if you just look at that, and you don't really carefully read the problem, you may think that you're supposed to find the volume because it gives you everything you need to find the volume. But if you read on, you find that there's actually extra information there, and it's there to mislead you. The question is, how much velvet does she need to line the bottom of the box? So she's putting velvet, a piece of velvet on the bottom of the box. That means she's just covering the bottom with some cloth. She's not filling the whole thing up. She's not putting something around the edges. So that we're actually finding the area of that, the bottom of the box, because that is where the velvet is going. It's going right here. So the base of the prism is a rectangle, which is the bottom of the box is the base. Sorry, my handwriting's bad because I'm using my mouse pad. Let's see. What and then what? So we need to find the area. So we use we use the formula for area. So it's length times width. We're not even using the height. This is extra information. So you have to really understand what it's asking before you just go ahead and start multiplying things. So the area is going to be, once again, length times width. So that's 8 inches times 4 inches. So 8 inches times 4 inches. And 8 times 4 is 32. And the units are square inches. Another way to write this is to write inches to the power of 3. No, to the power of 2. Sorry. Let me erase that. The power of 2 is square inches. Okay, 2 means two-dimensional. That means that when this is like when you're learning how to multiply, and you cut this up into, make this into a grid of, it's 8 on one side, so I'm cutting it up into 8 pieces, and it's 4 on the other side, and so I'm cutting that side up into 4 pieces, and if my drawing was better, you would see that these are squares. And so this is just like we were learning how to multiply, where they gives you one side, gives you the other side, and they tell you once you multiply them, you get the number of squares there are, which is much faster than just counting them. Finding area is exactly the same thing, and you can remember this too, and the exponent, because this is two-dimensional. There's no height. This is not in 3D. It's perfectly flat, and we call it squared because you cut this up into squares and count them, and then you get 32 of them. And that's it. So let's take the same problem and read a different, or the same box, and read a different question that it's asking us about it. So it says, choose a formula, find amount of space in the jewelry box will occupy. They're talking about the whole thing, like you're filling it up with water. So to find the amount of space, you need to find the volume. If I were going to fill it up with water, for example, I would be finding the volume. That's in 3D, that includes the height. So the formula for volume is width, or length times width times, or width times length times height. It has 3 dimensions. So in this case, the width is 8 inches, and the length is 4 inches, and the height is 6 inches. And so you multiply all this together. 8 times 4 is 32, and we multiply that by 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19. So we have 192 cubic inches, which can also be written like this. Now, there's a 3 here in the exponent because there's 3 dimensions, length, width, and height. We call it cubed because, well, like the other example I gave you, which cut this bottom part into squares, if I were going to also, in addition to cutting this bottom part into squares, but instead I'm just slicing through this whole thing, slicing, 8 slices, 4 slices this way, and then I cut across 6 more slices. I would get a bunch of cubes, and exactly 192 of them. And that's why they call this inches cubed. So it's inches to the 3rd power, or inches cubed, or cubic inches. That is, you can remember the 3 because it's in 3D. Oops, it's in 3D. Okay, here's a type of problem that is on your homework, and it's a lot easier than it looks at first glance. This problem gives you the volume, and it gives you the width, and it gives you the length, but does not give you the height, and you have to find the height. So here's the formula. Volume equals length times width times height. 60 is the volume, length is 5 centimeters, and width is 4 centimeters. And we do not know the height. That's what we need to find out. So let's simplify what we have so far. 5 centimeters times 4 centimeters would be 20, and the units for that would be, since it's centimeters times centimeters, or length times width, it's going to be centimeters squared. It's 2-dimensional. Okay, that's the area of that bottom part. So we made this as simple as we can. So we basically have 60 equals 20 times blank. And most people in class were able to figure out that a 3 goes here. That you multiply, now you just have to ask yourself, what do I multiply 20 by to get 60? Well, it's 3, and let's test it. 20 times 3 is 60. So that works. So the height is 3 centimeters. Why is it not squared or cubed? Well, we're just looking at the height, which is just a single measurement. It's a single dimension. You only have centimeters squared or centimeters cubed when you multiply centimeters by centimeters. And we're just finding one of the individual measurements. We're not finding area or volume. So here are some example problems. Find the perimeter. If this is 3 on this side, it must be 3 on this side because a rectangle has 2 congruent sides. They're also parallel. Same with this, 6. So to find the perimeter, I would add all these together. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. Now, what are my units? Well, I'm just adding a bunch of lines. So it's just centimeters. I'm not multiplying anything. You only have an exponent if you are multiplying different dimensions with each other to make a multi-dimensional quantity. Now here it says find the volume. Well, I know volume equals length times width times height. And in this case, we have 7 feet times 7 feet times 7 feet. So this is a cube. They're all the same. 7 times 7 is 49. And I multiply that by 7. 9 times 7 is 63. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 6 is 34. Now the hard question that's hard for a lot of kids is, what are my units here? Well, volume is 3D, so that gives you a hint. Also, we're multiplying feet times feet times feet. So that would be feet to the 3rd power, because there's 3 of them. It's in 3D. It's cubed. I can cut this up into cubes, so it's feet cubed. 343 feet cubed. Remember, the exponent goes after the unit here. It doesn't go after the number. If I had 343 cubed, that would mean 343 times 343 times 343, and that is not correct. Okay, so here we have find the unknown measurement. Okay, another one of those mystery problems. So it gives us the area, and it gives us one of the dimensions. So I know area. So we have a problem like this, I would just start with the formula, fill in what you know. Width times length. And I know that the area is 108 square meters. Width is 12 meters. And length is, I don't know. So if I know my math facts, like I have to figure out, well, what do I multiply by 12 to get 108? If I know my math facts, I can say, well, that's 9. If I don't know, I can just guess and check. I can just check different numbers. Well, 10 is too big because that's 120, you know, so on and so forth. 5 is too small because that's 60, and just narrow it down. Or you can just take 108 and divide it by 12 and get the exact answer. And if you estimated, you'd have 9, so we multiply 12 times 9 to check our answer, and we get, 108. So 9. And so what is our units? Well, it's right here, meters. Okay, because we're just finding one of the sides. And that's it.